Hello and welcome. I'm Carol Deshane, your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters, a Marconics multidimensional energy practitioner. Today I'm talking about finding a way to love your job. Now, some of us just go to the job for the money and we could care less about what we're doing. We don't like it, we don't want it, we just are going because we have no choice. And other people love what they do. So, how do you find a way to love your job if you really don't? Well, of course, there's always a way to find a different job. If it's a job that has a lot of issues to it, you can always figure out what you hate about your current job, or what you dislike, or what doesn't work for you, and what would work better. There's always a way to make a list because I'm a list maker and I always can do that if it helps. So, if that helps for you, by all means, write down what you don't love about your job and then look at what you do like about it currently. Is there anything you love about it? Is there anything you like about it? Is what you don't like, what you hate? Just kind of figure that out so you understand what's going on. Maybe you hate your boss. Maybe your boss is an ogre. They always talk down to you. They don't give you credit. They don't give you promotions, and you really don't like your boss. That one's sometimes kind of hard to get around. But if you can find a way to, this is spiritual, mind you step back and you put them in a love bubble. Sometimes they find, and you see them going to their best place. Whether that means they're in better mood and you have easier to deal with them, or maybe they get a promotion somewhere else, or maybe they find another job. Sometimes when you find a way to accept them for the ogre they may be, you can see them in a different light and hold them in love or light or whatever and allow them to be who they are without you having an issue. And a lot of times when you do that, like I said, they end up with it not in your sphere anymore. Either you get another job or they do, or else they get a promotion, but they're no longer your boss. And sometimes, and I have had one do this, they just become nicer. And you don't know why, but it works. And if you can continue that bubble around either yourself or them or both, then you can have that. You can also do a force field, but that kind of keeps people away. You more want the feeling of love every time you get close to them for them to go, whoa, okay, I'm a happy person because I got zapped with love. So, I mean, whatever it is that helps you with that, you can use that sort of thing. And it works for coworkers as well. It's best not to complain a lot about coworkers, but to tell people what is happening. I tell a boss may or may not be in your highest and best good for your job you're at. So you have to kind of make those considerations, of course. But to find a way to love your job, which is what we're talking about, look at those things that you already really like about it. There's got to be at least a few. You might not love anything, but look at what you wrote down. Do you love anything about your job? Can you appreciate that? Maybe the commute is fabulous, it's 5 minutes, or maybe you don't have to leave your house and you love that. What about your, what do you like about it? Do you like but not love certain things? Maybe what you do, your do is okay, but you don't love it, but it's not bad. And then maybe you like a certain part of your job, but not all of it. And then what do you dislike? Maybe you do hate the commute because you have to go 45 minutes and the traffic's getting worse now that the pandemic's over. Well, not over, but we're in the middle of it, the end, towards the end, or I don't know where we are. But the whole point is, it's not the beginning, so people aren't all at home all the time anymore. Maybe the traffic's gotten worse. Maybe people are having more accidents. I don't know. Maybe you hate that part about it. Maybe you hate the part where you have to work with a specific person or you have to do a specific type of part of your job that you like part of it and you don't like part of it. What about when if the things you hate about your job that would make you want to quit? What are those things? So look at those and then appreciate those things that you do love about your job and even the things you like about your job. But look at those other two things, the things you don't like and the things you hate, and try and decide if those are things you can live with where you are. If there's a way that you can make them better. Maybe you hate the commute, but you find a way to enjoy it more because you have books on tape or audiobooks, now they call them. And so you can listen to all these stories coming and going. Or you can listen to specific podcasts that you love, like mine maybe, Connect to Joy. So you look at those and you go, all right, let me figure these out. Let me look at this and see, what is it about this? What is it that I could like and shift and make us better? I mean, maybe you don't like the fact that you have the no office, that everybody else has an office and you're out in the main bullpen area or something. Or you don't like wherever it is that your job is at, and the atmosphere. What can you do about that? Maybe if you bring in baked goods, people would be happier if they're all kind of not so happy. Maybe if you tried, something different and you're going, oh, let's see, what can I do? This is interesting. How can I make this happen? So go ahead and look at those things that you really don't like or hate about your job, that you would categorize as hating about it, and figure out a way to shift it and see if there's even a tiny bit of shift that you can make there. Because finding another job is great. And maybe you won't bring what you hate to where you're going. But if you can adjust how you feel about where you're at now, then you're more likely to be able to find another job without dragging in those negative feelings about something, or the fears that you're going to hate your boss at the new place, the fears that they won't like you, the fears you won't be able to do the job. Whatever it may be, you won't drag that to the new place if you deal with it in your old. You won't. It's like having the same relationship. You see somebody going through the same one over and over again. Either they abuse them, or they don't talk to them nicely, or they leave after a certain amount of time. And you're looking at this person and you're going, why do they repeat the same relationship with all these different people? It looks the same. It's just a different name of the person they're with. And sometimes it's the same name. So if you look at your job and your job history, do you keep bouncing from job to job, and do you have the same issues? Because if you do, you need to look deeper at yourself, specifically about those issues. If you always have a job who doesn't appreciate you, then you look at it and go, well, what about what I'm doing? What about the boss, or the job itself? If I'm not getting salary increases, what do I need to do to shift this? Where do I need to be? So realize that, okay, things change. Let's see, where do we go from here? And take those moments, figure out what it is about your job that you can love, and how you can shift those things that you don't. Because you do have that power. You don't have to take on extra work necessarily. Maybe that's what you don't like, but maybe then you can get someone to assist you with some of that extra work, so you can delegate some of it. Some people don't like to delegate, but perhaps you'd be able to do that. There are different ways to go through and figure out what you can find to love about your job, and then how to make the job better just by learning and growing through it and those things that you don't like. So be really clear with yourself. Figure it out, because only you know what you like and what you don't like about where you're at. And if you don't love it, you don't have to. But if you do, it makes your life so much easier. And you don't mind getting up in the morning nearly as much if you don't mind where you're at and where you're headed. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm Carol Deshane, and you will find more information about me as a life coach or as a Marconics multidimensional energy practitioner on my website, connecttojoy.com, and that's connect, the number 2, joy.com. You'll also find my podcast there, and you can find it anywhere on most podcast channels, also called Connect to Joy, where you'll get a longer version and more tools than you get on the shorter YouTube videos. Until next week, by all means, please know that you are already enough to have that joyful, limitless life that you desire.